this is Laura from LIVEVISIONZ.com, and I'm just going to give this a couple minutes because last time, every time I did a live stream, it was a bit choppy and with the vocals, so we'll see how this, and I'm also going to plug this in. I wanted to make sure it's charged as I'm doing this. So, okay. First of all, I just wanted to say to you all, this is going to be a medical astrology like webinar, seminar thing. I'm just letting people know because I think it's important for everybody to know their chart and what it says medically. And I'm wearing a hat because I'm having a bad hair day. And basically that's it. My hair is in between the shoulder length and the longer than the shoulder length, so it's like in between, so it's like a hot mess and I do not want to cut it. So yeah, that's that story. So, I just wanted to say, if you do not know your planetary placements or know what planets you have, we're going to be concentrating. You have it in the 6th, which may relate. Yes, I'm just going to tell people, Ned was saying what he has in the 6th house, and I was just going to tell people to make sure you go to astro.com, print out your chart, and to look at, even if you have to put this video on pause, you can look at your 6th house and what it says for you as far as your 6th house is concerned. Now, this is Oprah's chart, okay? Now, she has Gemini ruling her 6th house, and she has Jupiter there. And its 6th house starts here at this black line and ends here at this black line. So do you see, this is called a cusp right there, and this is where it starts. It starts in Gemini. So if you're not sure, again, what planets you have, and go to astro.com. and look at your planetary placements. I know this is Mercury retrograde, and I'm ruled by Mercury, so so I need to make sure that the sound is working, because it's always for the last two videos, a minute and 12 seconds, the sound was choppy, and then it gets better. So I don't know what's up with that. But anyway, it's not my stuff, because it's working everywhere else. It's just not on Facebook. So anyway, hopefully we're all good here. All right, so the reason I wanted to do this video is because I've had so many people ask me for solar return readings, okay? And I really don't do them because you can see some really nasty crap in a solar return as far as death, as far as health, And I want to give positive, uplifting readings, and I pretty much specialize in relationships, but I don't want to give any kind of information that is just going to give somebody a huge giant anxiety attack, or because it can be scary. Solar returns can be very scary. I always say don't ask if you don't want to know, and I'm a pretty direct reader. I won't lie to somebody or anything, so I just figured it would be probably better I didn't do those type of readings. Now, but I do feel that it's beneficial to know your solar return and to perhaps know how to do it yourself, because me doing my own solar return and knowing astrology and knowing what part of the body planets and signs ruled saved my life. I told my doctor I wanted a test, which was an echocardiogram, and I had Uranus conjunct the sun in the 6th. And when you do a solar return, you have to compare it to the natal chart. You have to kind of go back and forth to the natal chart, okay? So this was in the 6th house was Aries, and Aries rules natally my 8th house. And 8th house can be surgery. It could be going within. It's also death, life. Well, anyway, I saw this, and I'm like, oh, this isn't good. This is so not good. So my heart was beating funny. The doctor's like, oh, no, you're fine. You don't need a test and all this, and I said, no. Give me the damn test. I'm not asking you, I'm telling you. If you don't give it to me, I'll go somewhere else. I was really pissed because my mother was dismissed by a doctor, and she passed away. So I was not about to let that happen to me, and thank God I did, because I got the test. And when I got the test, they kept me, and they admitted me that day because I had a loose tumor in my heart. And basically I wouldn't be here today, and my daughter would not have a mother, because I had emergency surgery the very next morning. So, and they said that I may have had days left because this thing was going to dislodge and go into my carotid, and it would have killed me. So in that event, it could be some scary crap, I'm not gonna lie. Was I having panic attacks when I saw that my solar return? Yeah. I don't know if you guys know Capio. He's a Vedic astrologer. I was like texting him, you know, emailing him on Facebook. Oh my God. He's like, why do you do your solar return? You're just freaking yourself out. And I'm like, no. I have a lot of 8th house planets, so I need to know, you know. So, and I'm thankful I did, you know what I mean? But I was asking his advice, and because I was freaking out big time. And you know, when you move, when you do a solar return, you can change your solar return by moving to another state, but you have to do it around your birthday. And I was thinking, oh, maybe if I moved and this and this, but I think that it was better I stayed where I was and just took care of whatever it was. And that's what I did. I just went right to the doctor and I said, look, you got to check this out. So anyway, I'm going to get into, now I'm going to be having a webinar on October 12th at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time, teaching you how to read a solar return properly, okay? And I'm going to use my chart as an example. I'm just going to preface, it's $50 a person, and I'll put a link at the bottom of this, but I just want to preface that I won't be doing everyone's solar return that signs up for this, because I'm just going to give you the tools, okay, that you need and teach you how to read it. I'm not going to be reading, but because I just don't want to give that kind of information. I really, really don't, because you could see some nasty stuff. But I think that because it was so helpful to me and it saved my life, it could save somebody else's too, you know. So I think it is helpful, you know. But anyway, even whether you're doing a solar return or not, a natal chart can tell you a lot about your health in general, you know what I mean? And the planets in it can give you information as well, all right? Now, and again, you can compare that when you do a solar return, you kind of know how your health may go, and you look at your 6th house in that solar return as well, and you compare it to the natal chart. So you're always going to be looking at, and again, I'll talk about this in the seminar and all that, the webinar I'm doing. I keep calling it a seminar, but it's a webinar. I'll talk about it more in that, but you're going to be looking at the 6th house a lot, and just so you know, just because you have planets in the 6th house in the solar return does not mean you're going to have a health issue, okay? It depends on what house rules your 6th house natally, because you have to keep going back and forth and looking for the rulership to that house and where that resides too. It kind of tells a story. So I'm going to talk all about that. And again, 6th house for Oprah, it's right here, starts right here and ends right here, and it's Gemini, okay? So anyway, okay, on to, that was just my little rant on why I feel it's important to know this stuff, but, all right, so you don't have to take notes, because I'm guessing you'll save the video, or I'll upload it to YouTube as well, so you'll have it there. And I'm going to upload it to the website too. So, okay, you never really, and I have all these notes too. If you see me looking to the side, I'm just making sure I didn't forget anything. You don't want to have surgery on the part of the body that the moon is currently transiting in, okay? So, for example, like when I had heart surgery, you know, it would have been really horrible if the moon was in Leo, okay? Because the Leo rules the heart. So, like, if you wanted to have work done on your teeth, you don't really want to have the moon to be in Saturn or involved with, not Saturn, in Capricorn, okay? Or, you know, conjuncting Saturn would be bad too. But you don't want it to be in Capricorn, because Capricorn rules bones and teeth, okay? Or like if you're having breast surgery, you do not really want that to be in Cancer, because Cancer rules the breast, you know? So you want to make sure the moon is not in the part of the body that rules the part of the body in which you're having surgery on. Number one rule, that's the most important one, okay? One of the most important ones as well. But you also, because of bleeding, you want to try to avoid, you want to also avoid if the moon is in hard aspect to the body being worked on as well. Example, you're working on your teeth and the moon is in hard aspect to Saturn, so you want to watch that as well. But as far as the moon and being a full moon or a new moon, okay, so having surgery during a full moon before or after 5 days is not a good idea, because it increases your fluids in your body, and it can increase more chances of bleeding and or hemorrhaging. And I'm going to be honest with you, I don't remember what it was during my heart surgery, but I do know my C-section, the moon was in hard angle to Mars, and I did bleed more, and I almost needed a transfusion. And I know that for my heart surgery, I think that I was close to it was around a full moon, and that's why I did need a transfusion when I had my heart surgery. So just so you know. All right, now if you have surgery around a new moon, so let's say that 5 days before or 5 days after a new moon is a better time, because there's less chance of swelling and bleeding excessively, you know. So this is an infection. I would say that would be better too, because there's less chance of swelling. So that's a better time as well. Now, try to have surgery, like I just said, if Mars is in good aspect to the moon, because the harder the aspect can mean that bleeding is more favorable at that time. So you just want to make sure it's in good aspect. Good aspect being like a trine or a sextile or something like this, right? All right. My daughter's going to drive me nuts with those pacifiers, I swear to God. So, okay. So having surgery during a fixed sign is usually better, because, you know, this fixed signs usually a surgeon's hands are more steady, and they should be also is apt to go without any further complications, you know, during a fixed sign. However, there's a caveat: unless that moon sign, unless that fixed sign. Fixed signs are what? Leo, Aquarius, Taurus, Scorpio. Now those signs are fixed signs, but unless one of those rules part of the body you're having surgery on, I definitely wouldn't do it. Okay. Example. The sign of Leo is good for getting your teeth worked on, okay? Because Leo does not rule the teeth, but it's bad if you're getting heart surgery, okay? So anyway, okay. During a Mars or a Mercury retrograde, it's never good to have surgery, and it should be avoided if possible. And unfortunately, I can't believe it. If I have to go and give her a pacifier, I swear to God, I'm going to be 2 seconds. I swear to God. Oh my God. Okay, pacifier emergency. So sorry about that. Okay, so as I was saying, during a Mercury or a Mars retrograde, it's not good at all. Mercury, because, you know, you want the doctor to be working on all cylinders, and if Mercury is retrograde, there's more chances of miscommunication, mishaps, mix-ups, mistakes, you know. And Mars rules cutting and knives, so you really want to make sure that Mars is direct too, you know. And you don't really want to be, during a Mars retrograde, there could be more chances of a loss of blood. You know what I'm saying? So you want to be careful of that too. Now, if you're having plastic surgery, you want to make sure that Venus is direct. Venus rules beauty. So you want to make sure that Venus is direct, and especially you want to make sure that you have good results, but also you want to also make sure that Mars and Mercury are direct too as well. Okay. Okay. Now avoid a moon if the sign if it's in the sign opposing your sun sign. So actually, yeah. And also you want to have Mars in the sign. If Mars is in the sign opposite your Mars sign, so Mars opposing Mars, you don't want to have a surgery at that time either. And I know when you think of all the logistics of this, it's impossible. Like when I had heart surgery, I didn't have time to plan. You know what I'm saying? It's just like you have to have it. That's it. Boom, 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 boom. There was no time for Laura to go in her little ephemera, which I had with my phone in the hospital. And I'm trying to do as much as I could, but sometimes you may not be able to follow all this. You know what I mean? I would say the huge ones are: don't have surgery in the part of the body that the sign is in, okay? So again, heart surgery, you don't want the moon to be in Leo, okay? You really want to avoid, if you can, Mercury or Mars retrograde, but I know that's hard to do that too. But you know what? I did have my, when I was pregnant, I had, during a Saturn retrograde, a tooth pulled, and was totally fine because Saturn rules teeth. I did not have a choice, you know. They were really worried because I was pregnant, and they're like, you need to get, it was a wisdom tooth. So they're like, you need to get it done. And I couldn't have any medications, you know, but actually the moon was in Leo, so I healed up fine. It wasn't a lot of loss of blood, so it was totally good. So anyway, and I think it was right around a new moon, so that's probably why there wasn't a lot of bleeding. So anyway, I want to say too, reschedule your appointment if the moon falls void of course. Void of course means nothing's going to happen. Either that's probably going to get delayed, or you're not going to get the outcome you want. Nothing, like the outcome is like almost like as if it didn't happen. You know what I mean? Like if the moon is void of course and you have surgery, it's like, well, I look the same. Like nothing happened. Like it's, you may have to reschedule. You know what I mean? So I would say to you, it needs to be in a sign to take action. And when it's void, of course, it's leaving one sign and not yet into the other sign. So, you know, so it's not really, you know, so you need to make sure it's in a sign to take action, okay? So that's an important thing too. Now, those of you who have moon conjunct Neptune natally, have more chances of allergies. So if you have any sensitivities to medications natally, you need to tell your doctor. Because some of you guys can be more apt to having allergic reactions to medications, you know. All right. So, hey, Marina. Hey, you guys, for saying hi. Now, I want to say as well. Okay, so now those are just some of the things that I wrote down that were huge and extremely important. Okay, now I'm going to talk about the sign and the planet and the part of the body that it rules. So a lot of you guys may want to look at your 6th house now, just like Oprah has Gemini, and she has Jupiter in the 6th, okay? So some of you guys want to look, you may want to look at that. But the signs for Aries, the sign, and then it, you know, Aries ruler is Mars, okay? So if you have, you know, Aries or Mars, it corresponds to the head, including the face, with the exception of the bony part of the nose, which is ruled by Scorpio, okay? Now, Taurus, which is ruled by Venus, is the ruling planet for Taurus, is the throat and the beginning of the neck, the palate, the larynx, the tonsils, the back of the head, and cerebellum, okay? Now, Gemini, which ruler is Mercury, okay? This rules the shoulders, the arms, the hands, the lungs, the thymus, sorry, and the upper ribs. I don't even know what the thymus is, but that I did a research and that's what it said. Now, Cancer, the ruler is the moon, and the ruler, the body that it rules is the thorax, the abdomen, the stomach, the diaphragm, the lower lung lobes, the aorta, upper lobe of the liver, the breast, and the mammary gland, the right eye for female and left eye for the male, okay? Now, the sun, you know, Leo, the ruler is the sun, okay? Now, that's why I was concerned about my heart, because I had Uranus conjunct the sun in the 6th in the sign of Aries, you know? And Aries in my natal chart rules my 8th house, which 8th house can have to do with life, death, but it also has to do with surgery, too. So, yeah. So anyway, and unexpectedly, this was not, you know, expected, obviously. I didn't have a heart problem before or anything. It was like a free thing. Oh, and my natal chart, I have Aquarius ruling my 6th, which means that I could get very odd or rare things, like things that are just so odd. And the doctor's like, do you know how rare and odd it is for you to have this kind of a tumor? It wasn't cancerous or anything, and I got it out, which is really good. But they said that it's so rare. And I'm like, yeah. So like when my family doctor's like, you're so young, you don't need that test, you know? I'm like, you know, you should never generalize on age because you know, you just don't know. So I'm just saying, be your own advocate, okay? All right, so where were we? Leo, the sun. Now it rules the back, the spine, the heart, the right eye for males, and the left eye for females, okay? Now Virgo, the ruling planet is Mercury, and it rules the belly, the umbilical region, the intestines, the lower liver lobes, the pancreas, and the spleen, okay? Now for Libra, the sign of Libra, Libra is ruled by the planet Venus as well as Taurus, and this one rules the loins, the inguinal region, the groin. So those of you who may have like an inguinal hernia or something like this, maybe another one. The kidneys, the vascular nerve system of the skin as well. Now for Scorpio, the ruler is Pluto. Now, this is ruled by the parts of the body is the genitalia, the sexual organs, the bladder, urethra, rectum, and the descending colon, the flexor, the prostate, and the bony part of the nose, okay? Sagittarius, the ruler is Jupiter. Now, Jupiter ruling parts of the body for this is the hips, the upper half of the lower extremities, the femur, and the thigh bone, ilium, the arteries, your veins, the sciatic nerve, pituitary gland, and cell nutrition. Now, Capricorn, the ruler is Saturn, and this rules the knees, the skin, the teeth, ears, and bones. Okay. Now, Aquarius, the planetary ruler is Uranus, and this rules the lower leg, lower half of the lower extremities, the ankles, and the electrical impulses. Okay. Okay. And Pisces, the ruler is Neptune, and it rules the feet, the toes, the pineal gland, the thalamus, the spinal cord, and the nervous processes. You know, so I hope this gives you some indication, and when you look at your chart, you put it all together like a puzzle. Okay. So you look at the ruling sign that's in and any planets in it. So for Oprah, let's just use her as an example. We saw that she had Gemini. So she may have issues with her shoulders, her arms, her hands, her lungs, her thymus, and I'm not sure what a thymus is, but her upper ribs as well. Now, and you also see that she has Jupiter here. Well, Jupiter is a benefic planet, so it can be very beneficial to her to have that benefic planet in her 6th house, you know. But Jupiter is Sagittarius's ruler. So it could rule her hips, her upper half of her lower extremities, her femur, her thigh bone, ilium, arteries, her veins, her sciatic nerve, pituitary gland, and cell nutrition. So, you know, those are some things that she may want to look at, you know. But now when you look at a solar return, like my natal chart is just, you know, Aquarius, and I have Mars and Jupiter there. But if you were to look at like my solar return, my natal chart doesn't really indicate I would have a heart issue. It would just say that Aquarius can also mean something sudden, something unexpected, you know, something rare, something very unique, you know. So, you know, I never really thought that I would ever have like any kind of a heart problem or anything like this. But so when my solar return came, and I'm seeing this in Aries, which rules my 8th house of surgery, and Uranus conjuncting my sun, you know, and Uranus also rules you know, electrical impulses as well. You know, so it could be like sudden, and then it's conjunct the sun, which the sun is the heart too. And yeah, so I'm like, whoa, I gotta take this serious. So when I had that irregular heartbeat the doctor said, oh, it's normal to have an irregular heartbeat. And when I saw what I saw in my chart that showed that like the ruler to that house was in the 12th, I was like, oh, F this, you know, man, you're gonna check this. I don't give a shit if I have to like make you, beg you, yell at you, you know, because I knew this was bad. I mean, it was bad enough where I was calling Capil, contacting him on Facebook like a crazy person. He's probably like, she's freaking nuts, you know, because he does Vedic astrology. So I thought maybe he could give me a different spin on what I was seeing. And I'm like, oh my God, should I move to change my chart because it's coming up in a couple months? Like, I'm really worried. So my birthday's in April. February, I went to the ER. They said everything looked fine. And then it took like a week or so for me to get transferred from my doctor to get a referral to get this test done. By the time I had the test, it was like an emergency situation. I wasn't even allowed to leave the hospital. So anyway, so that's why I feel, in my opinion, I know that solar returns can give some really shitty and crappy information. I mean, I was having anxiety attacks. Capil's like, oh my God, she's crazy. He may think that, I don't know, but I was really worried, you know what I mean? And intuitively, I knew something was gonna happen. Like intuitively, I have a lot of plants in my 8th house, so I felt like, oh my God, something bad could happen, you know, I don't know, you know, so all of those things were really on my mind too, you know, so, and natally, I had transiting, what was it? I had transiting, I had transiting Uranus on my Chiron, you know, at that time, which was also conjuncting my Sun and Venus. So yeah, in my 8th house, in my natal chart. So I knew something could happen, but I didn't think it was going to be that. So anyway, I'm just explaining my story because if it could help somebody else and understand their chart and to be more, I find with my situation and even with my mother's situation, like being, oh, don't worry about it, you're a woman, you're just panicky or whatever. That's so effing unbelievably upsetting that a doctor would do that. And it means that their ego is in the way of their judgment. And women are intuitive people. You know your body. Especially I'm a Virgo ascendant, so anything weird goes on with me, I'm like, something ain't right. I know right away. So when I was having like irregular heart beating, I was looking at my chart and I'm like, oh snap. I was like, this can't be. And you know what he said? Well, you were in the ER and your echo and everything, not your echo, your EKG looked fine, and so you're fine, and I'm thinking, no. And I requested a test. I requested a echocardiogram. And he's like, why do you want that test? It's an ultrasound of the heart. And it's the test my mom didn't get. And I just said, I just want it. I just know that I want that test. And he's like, you don't need that test. You're young. Like, there's nothing wrong with you, And I'm like, look, just, my mom died. So, you look at the family history or whatever. I just want to make sure I'm okay. Fine. So by the time I got the test, it was an emergency situation. And dude didn't even have the sense to say sorry or like, I was wrong, I'm so sorry, or, I'm sorry I doubted you. But I did have the surgeon. The heart surgeon says to me, how the hell did you diagnose yourself? And you asked for the exact test that you would have needed for this to be diagnosed. So I'm just a really huge advocate of people fighting for what they believe to be true, and you can't really say, oh, I looked at my chart and that's what it said, because they're going to think you're crazy. But I told the surgeon after my surgery, I told him that that's how I knew. And he's like, holy shit. He says, usually people start fainting and stuff, and sometimes it's, it's too late. So he says, you didn't have any symptoms, just that irregular heartbeat, which really wouldn't give you the test that you asked for normally. So my just point is, if this video can help other people understand their chart, or me doing a webinar on how to do a solar return properly, I don't mind doing it. So anyway, I hope this finds you well and is helpful to you, because I wouldn't want anyone to go through what I went through. Or even if somebody has chronic problems and somebody's telling you you're nuts, it's in your head, there's nothing wrong with you, because I've had people call me and say that they've had some chronic issues, health issues. It's really good to not only know your natal chart in your 6th house, but it's really good to know your solar return for that year and what health issues you may be dealing with. So and how that may play out. And I'm just saying, it could be very helpful. So I hope you guys found this helpful. If you could share it, this video, that would be great. So maybe it could help somebody else, But anyway, the website you need to go to is astro.com and do your personal chart. It's going to look like this. And, and just look at the 6th house. You want to look at the 6th house and any planets in it. And you can look anywhere online for a guide as to what the symbols mean and what they look like, and all of that. So, and I think they have it on astro.com as well. But I can't stress more how important it is to just look at your chart and understand it. And I'm not trying to freak anyone out or give anyone an anxiety attack, but I feel to be forewarned is to be forearmed, just know what you, so this way maybe your chart shows something, and then if you have like a little symptom, you're like, oh, well, maybe I should get that checked, So because it was in my solar return, I was like, oh, hell no, he's gonna check this. Whether he wants to or not, he's going to. So anyway, I hope this helps you guys, and I hope you share this video. And some of you guys, I don't know how many people are going to want to go to the solar return webinar, because I get a ton of people asking me to do their solar return charts, and I will not do it, because there's so much horrible things you can see in a solar return that I don't want to be responsible for, scaring the bejesus out of somebody or give them anxiety attacks, because reading my own can give my own self an anxiety attack. So enough to that I went to the emergency room to get checked. So so just to say, I just want to teach you guys how to do it yourself if you would like to do it yourself, and look into that, because it could maybe save someone's life, So anyway, if you're interested in that, I will put a link on this video as it's uploaded, once it finishes uploading fully to Facebook And I will also put a link on the video I'm going to be uploading to YouTube as well. Okay, so anyway, thank you guys for coming and joining in, and sorry for my daughter having temper tantrums. I'm so sorry. Age of 2 is not easy. It's very difficult, you know. But I think I'm very blessed to be here, to be part of her terrible twos, you know. But yeah, the pacifier is an issue, and most of the day I'm holding her all the time. I mean, she's like half my size already. She's like 3, I'm only 5 feet. She's 3.5 feet. And this kid wants to be held all day long, and it's just like, oh my God. I'm like, you know, I cannot hold you all day. So she's screaming in there, hold me, and I'm trying to do this. So it's just like, oh. So if you guys do order a reading from me, I'm gonna tell you, to be honest with you, if you can, order a recorded reading. Live readings are really hard. I just make sure I have a sitter if I have a live reading, but recorded readings I can get out quicker because I can do those in the middle of the night when she's sleeping, you know, and it's totally silent, and I could just totally concentrate on your chart. But I'm just saying, so it's just a lot easier recorded readings at this time. It's not, I'm not saying that I can't do a live reading. I can, but I have to, I can't schedule you unless I have a sitter. I have somebody for her. Okay? So anyway, I hope this finds you well, and I'm glad I did it. So I will talk to you guys soon. Take care. Have a good one. Bye-bye.